الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm SAJ Mahal, but for as long as I can remember, everyone calls me Saj. Welcome to my brand new show, SAJ Mahal. As it is the inaugural program, I would like to invite Hafiz Lal Hussain Sahib to recite a few verses from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا. إنا هديناه السبيل إما شاكرا وإما كفورا. إنا هديناه السبيل إما شاكرا وإما كفورا. إنا أعتدنا للكافرين سلاسل وأغلالا وسعيرا. إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا. عينا يشرب بها عباد الله. عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا. يوفون بالنذر ويخافون. عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا. يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا. ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا. إنا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
MashaAllah. Hafiz Saab, thank you very much. Not only Hafiz Lal Hussain Saab has been blessed with a beautiful voice, he's got a lovely personality and a beautiful smile too. Hafiz Saab, bahut shukriya, thank you. I will shortly introduce you to my studio guests, but firstly, let me tell you a little bit about the subject content and tonight's program. But first, a quotation. It is said that in order to know or understand a man, you must know his memories. I would like to ask you to cast your mind back to 1969. Neil Armstrong is landing on the moon. I, my family, and many others are landing at Heathrow Airport. Destination, a small mill town in Lancashire called Nelson. We arrive, it's dark, it's miserable, it's cold, it's wet, it's unwelcoming. School children are abusive, racist. It is not an environment that we feel comfortable in or that we want to settle in. However, this is our new home, and the mantra from our parents is study, work hard, and make your life a success. This program is about exploring, highlighting, congratulating all the people, all the stories of success. One such success story is of a distinctly unique football team called Park United. It was set up over 50 years ago. Despite all the obstacles, racism, abusive language, refereeing bias, all kinds of biases, there have been some quite outstanding achievements and successes. The first Asian team in over 100 years to win the Berlin District Premier League. Organizing the first ever national Asian football tournaments. And to winning them twice in a row. Having several players scouted by professional clubs and in fact play as semi-professional footballers. Raise funds, self-drive and participate in a European football tournament and remain unbeaten, competing against professional football clubs. In addition, organising social and cultural community events to the Houses of Parliament, Lake District, etc. What is even more important about these achievements is that they were achieved 40 years ago. That's right, 40 years ago. Without further ado, let me introduce you to my guests this evening. First and foremost, to my right, I have Haji Bhai Haroon Zaman Sahib, whose links with Park United cover the whole of the period I have just outlined. He is a former director of racial equality in Bury and has a master's degree. Tragically, due to a medical accident back in 1986, he was left wheelchair bound. But this is the uniqueness of this man, the determination, the motivation. Over a 10-year period, he sought out all kinds of medical help and abandoned the wheelchair and is now able to walk. The latter years have seen him set up miscellaneous charities. The most recent one is the Roof of the World charity, performing free cleft lip surgery for children, amongst many other much needed operations. But he is one of the most patriotic Pakistanis, not just in name, but in deeds. that I have had the good fortune to meet. Now, it might be difficult to imagine, but in his younger days, he was actually referred to as Hairy Harry. Forgive me for that, Bayroon. Bayroon, it is a great pleasure. Welcome to my program. Not in the studios this evening, late failure of a fitness test. My guest is Mashouk Hussain, OBE, popularly and most fondly called Mash. Mash joined the club Park United when he was 13 years old. We've been trying to get rid of him ever since, but he's become the club captain and he is actually the current team manager. He has enjoyed all the successes as well as the trials and tribulations. He studied at Bradford and Lancaster University to become a youth and community worker. He was awarded the OBE for services to the community and young people of this area, and we are very proud of him. Welcome, Ash.
Thank you.
We'll go on to the questions. First and foremost, Haroon Bhai, take us back to those early years. When, how, why Park United?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here to speak of our historical joint achievements over, 4 decades, something like that. There were very little sports available, very little activity available, which involved minimal financial costings. And football seemed to be the concept that took off after UK won the World 66 Football World Cup. Yeah.
Were you here then?
Yes. Been here since 63.
Wow.
Okay. So that actually put everybody in the fast lane. Not only the youngsters but also the elders. The main motivator, Brother Muhammad Khalid, along with his father, and yourself and your father and Mashouk and everybody else who joined in, was really motivated by a sense of achievement to show that we can achieve and prove racist wrong. We had a sense of belonging, we had a sense of teamwork, we had one for all and all for one approach. And that is how the Park United Football Club developed over the years. First of all, I think it was Black Diamonds, yes. And then Park United, P-A-R-K.
Yeah.
Why was it Park United? Because we had no place to go to but to play in parks.
Yeah.
And these are the words from a veteran manager, Muhammad Khalid Saab, whom I picked up some information today.
I should just quickly, if I may input, that one of the grandees of the club, in fact, we could refer to him as the godfather,
exactly,
the person who really put us on the map, is a gentleman called Mr. Muhammad Khalid Saab. Sadly, he isn't able to be with us tonight. I'm sure he's watching in Jhelum in Pakistan. And without his input, his dedication over many, many years, the club would never have reached the kind of heights that it did.
Exactly. Yes, and the sense of achievement increased manifold. I think one point which has possibly never been elevated is that in 1971, Bangladesh broke off, East Pakistan broke off from Pakistan. We lost a little bit of image. Mm-hmm. We felt deprived. To overcome that deprivation, the sense of achievement got stronger and stronger within the Pakistani youth. And that was also an extra drive to put us all into victory time and over again in all football matches.
One of the fascinating things of that period and those guys, that team, is that despite all the difficulties and lack of access to resources, financial, manpower, all kinds of things that you can imagine, all those guys virtually became very successful, whether it was in business, politics, education, so forth. Why do you think that is?
I think that is, as I said earlier on, a sense of achievement. The Highlanders call it clans. Belonging to Park United gave them an identity, and that identity could not be let down. Everybody was in achievement mode, in supportive mode, one for all and all for one, what I said earlier on. And racism was pretty rough at that time, and that also acted as a drive for us. And mind you, let me tell you this, we were at the prime of our youth at that time. We had so much energy, and there was very little to do. We didn't have TV. Well, black and white was the nearest thing anyone got to at that time. And sense of sports was very, very dominant, particularly football. It took off, as I said earlier on, due to the '66 World Cup victory.
We'll develop these points further. I'm sure Mash is anxious to get in. Mash, if I could ask you, what's your earliest memory of Park United? When did you first hear about it, or what made you want to join this club?
Well, my earliest memory was watching the team at the home ground, which was Benthead. And I think from there, I used to go literally every Saturday to go and watch the team. And then Khalid, thank you, Khalid, decided he was going to start on under-13s.
Let me ask you, sorry Mash, what's your earliest match memory? What did you see? Do you remember what the teams were, what the score was, who scored?
I remember Park wearing a blue kit, and I can't remember the score, to be honest. It was the very first time I'd ever been to Benthead to watch. I'd heard this team was playing on Benthead, Park United, and I'd gone along with my brother, and it was the first time I'd ever seen a Pakistani team playing.
Okay, great. Okay, so you're 13 years old, you join the club and you start playing. Just briefly go on to, how you've been here, well, 30, 40 years now, Mash, with the club in various capacities. There's been all kinds of issues. Oh, before I go further, I must point out that the live telephone call number is up on your screen. We will love past, present, players, anybody associated with the club or has any memories that they wish to share or question our honourable guests here. Please pick up the phone and give us a call. Sorry, Mash, carry on.
No problem. Yes, 13. The trials were up at Edge End, and we were so excited. And then once the trial had gone, yourself and Arif used to take the training sessions at Edge End as well. So for us, it was a very exciting time. It was as if, we'd had the opportunity to, play in a team, because it was very hard for us at that age, Pakistanis, to access junior teams. So it was a very exciting time, and there was players from all over the schools around the area. And initially, we didn't do so well. We used to let quite a few goals in, but as time went on, I remember one particular game, we beat Briarfield Celtic, that had been going on for 100 years. We beat them 2-1, and their players actually sat and cried on the pitch as we celebrated. So
sat and cried, did you say?
They cried. They actually sat on the pitch crying because they'd been beaten by nobodies.
Yeah, but just to input, Mash, even though we were adults and I was one of the youngest in the team at the time, and a lot of the guys who played at that time were married, had children. And occasionally, when we lost, we would cry as well. We were so upset because we were so determined. It was such a big ambition and goal in our lives. David Blazard, God bless him, we will, I'm sure, talk about him in a further program. In fact, we would love to do a program just on his life, who was our chairman. He was one of the most unique people I've ever met in my life. And he used to say, Saj, Mash, Khalid, Iqbal, Arif, whoever, never mind the spitting, never mind the racial abuse, never mind the bias from the referees. Just win the games, win that trophy, win that championship for the first time, and then you've conquered it. If you allow them to get to you and beat you because of this and let you fight and so forth, then you have lost. So this is why it meant so much to that generation, that if we lost, I mean, people would fall out with one another and not talk to each other for several weeks because somebody made a mistake or didn't work hard enough and so forth. And well, I think that's how you came in. You came into that era, didn't you?
I did, and I remember Rafiq putting his fist through a ceiling because we'd got beat in a match, and he was so frustrated and so angry. And while we were getting change at Old House, he put his fist through a ceiling at Old House. I remember that clearly. And that was the passion, and that was the will to win, and we hated losing.
Okay, Mash, sorry to interrupt. We have our first caller. Thank you very much. Let's hope it's Rafiq and he can explain why he smashed up your house. Live caller number 1. Assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Ji, wa alaikum salam. Who's calling, please?
It's Ishi. Is this Saj?
It is Saj. Ifi.
Hi, Saj. How are you?
I'm fine.
Ishi.
Oh, Ishi from Middlesbrough.
It is Ishi from Middlesbrough.
MashaAllah. Right. Okay, very quickly, let me introduce you, Ishi. Or you introduce yourself. Go on. Tell us how you heard of Park United and what your role is. Thank you very much for ringing, by the way. It's really good to hear from you.
Not at all. Not at all. Excuse the bit of noise in the background if there is. I'm trying to sort of walk away from it. So yeah, I'm Ishi Din. I'm a writer, and a couple of years ago, a guy called Paul Cooley, who's a film producer, sort of got in contact with me by my agent, and he was looking for someone to write a script about a football team, an actual football team in Nelson. So when I met with Paul, and he explained to me about this story, there's this football team, and it's been around for many years, and it's based in Nelson and stuff like this. And I was thinking, oh, this is fantastic, a really interesting story. It was only when I came to Nelson and met with you guys, and met Arif and Marsh and yourself, and you know, I got to find out the full story of what it was that you guys had achieved, and how inspiring your whole journey as a community, as a football team. It was just a no-brainer for me, and I thought we sort of left the meal at your house that evening, Saj. And I said to Paul, I'd love to be involved in this project.
Ishi, I'm going to be rude. I'm just going to stop you in your flow for a minute, because what I want to do is I want to ask Mash, because he sort of initiated all this. From what I remember, he was daydreaming from his work office place at Marsden Heights, looking out at the fields at Benthead, which was our home ground where we used to play. Mash, take over, please.
Yes, thank you, Saj. Benthead is where Marsden Heights is now, and it was my place of work, and my office used to be on the 4th floor. And I was stood looking out the window, and I was working out whether the pitch that has been marked out now was exactly where the other one used to be. And a friend of mine, Jaffa, who works with me, he said to me, "You're miles away. What were you thinking?" And I said, "I was trying to work out where this pitch, whether it's marked on the same spot." And he said, "Oh, interesting. What pitch was that?" And then I started explaining to him about Park United and all our challenges and all our all the history of Park United. And he said, "I've got a friend of mine. He's produced a couple of Hollywood films. Would you mind if I contacted him just to have a chat with him, see if he thinks there's any
Shaun the Sheep movie, which is an international success, actually, is one of his. So Paul is a a producer of international quality, an award-winning producer, I must say.
Yeah. So he lives in Los Angeles at the moment, and he came down to Nelson with Ishi at that time, and it's still in the pipeline. So watch this space.
Right,
Hopefully,
so I'll stop you there. Ishi, apologies again for interrupting you. Right, Ishi, carry on now. Tell us where you're at and where we're heading, and if there's any timescales, etc., with your script writing.
Yeah, well, I'm just about to embark on a second draft. We're getting a story together. We're all really excited about it. It's been off to the BFI. They're really excited about it.
Tell us,
well.
sorry, for our viewers, BFI being?
The British Film Institute.
Thank you.
So it's just such a fantastic story, and there's so much in it. It's such a rich story about a group of friends overcoming adversity, about a community, about the changing times, and about, you know, there's so many elements to this whole saga of Park United that it needs to be told on the big screen. So we're working away. What, you know, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever it is, these things take a long time. They're a big process because they're big endeavours. They cost many millions of pounds to make. There's a huge army of people involved in making a movie of that scale that we can then see, you know, in cinemas up and down the country. So be patient, guys. It's in the pipeline. It's coming. Hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, you'll like what we've done with your story and how it gets once it becomes up on the big screen. But it's such an inspiring tale that you know what you guys in Nelson have achieved, and it's one of the things that when people ask me, well, what you're up to, I love telling. I think I'm working on this incredible project. It's a true story. You know, this is what happened, and then I sort of give an abridged version of the sort of the beginnings of Park United, the hurdles those older guys had to overcome. You know, I heard some fantastic stories when I was there. You know, from each different generation of players of there. Your trip to Belgium, I found out about all of that. I found out about how the older guys, you know, the teacher who took the FA badge to sort of teach these kids how to play football, these young Pakistani lads in the 60s, in the late 60s, and, you know, how all the hurdles that they had to overcome, that huge amounts of racism that was just every day around them, you know, and
wonderful.
You know, the fact that it's been going for 50 years, well over 50 years now. It was 50 years when I was there a couple of years ago.
So, Ishi, sorry to interrupt again. You touched on, mentioned very quickly the Belgium trip. I think it was such a significant, almost pinnacle of Park United's success, if you like. And I want to talk more about that. So I don't know, Payarun, do you have recollections of that, or were you not around at that time?
No, I only heard about you trying to make some funds in order to make that trip happen. But I was in employment, so I could not hear, obviously.
But you're always supporting us, you know, whenever we did sponsored walks and things, you know, you were there helping us raise funds and so forth. With regard to the Belgium trip, as I said, I'd like to expand on that a bit more. And again, any other callers or past players who actually went on that trip, I'd love to hear from them tonight. Just bring Mash in very quickly. Mash, I know you were on that trip. You were very young. Did you actually get to play any games? Can you remember?
Well, the first thing is it was wunderbar. Exactly. And secondly, we were a bit too young, me and Shoaib Malik, Burr, as we called him. And I think because we were in the junior team and we were just ready to break into the senior team, I think we went along. So it's a memory that we'll keep forever and ever. But yeah, it was a wonderful trip. And one of the things I remember is we got to the other side of the channel and we stopped at services. You can call it a services from back in the day, and we didn't really know what to order. So we looked and we didn't know what chips were called. We didn't know what. So somebody found out that Fritz, and so everybody ordered. We had like 25, I think 40 odd chips and egg.
That's all we had here.
On the side of the road, and like I said, the memories are brilliant. And when we went to Brussels, and we thought we'd lost La San, because we'd got out the minibuses, we'd ordered these pizzas, and we thought they were going to be the small pizzas, but they ended up being gigantic. So every one of us ordered these gigantic pizzas, which we couldn't finish. And then when we got back to the minibus, we couldn't find La San. So that was a good walk around Brussels.
Yeah. So I think, you know, Ishi touched on this. The football part is important, but what needs to be highlighted, and again, issue by Aruna has also highlighted it, is really the community aspect, what it did for the community, the pride it gave to, you know, the not only the players, the families, but the community at large. Because, I mean, this trip that we're talking about, I keep emphasizing it, was almost 40 years ago. I mean, just imagine a bunch of guys in Nelson go around selling raffle tickets, sponsored walks, and there weren't that many business people in those days to go and ask for money, to raise the money to actually hire a couple of minibuses, drive them themselves, go to the continent, Belgium, Antwerp and we were playing against professional clubs. I mean, one of them, I remember. Oh, and I've been dying for somebody to ask me what this tie is all about. I don't know if we can zoom into this tie. We had these ties especially made because we were told that when the captain, I was fortunate enough to be the captain, goes and shakes hands, you exchange a pennant. Of course, you know, we were just a poor amateur club. We didn't have a pennant. So I actually gave the opposing captain a tie. That's what each of these captains had. I still have the pennant of some of these clubs. And one of them, the clubs, is Rotterdam. They were playing in the Europa League last year. And that's the caliber that we played against. And we came away unbeaten. We lost out on not even goal average or goal difference, but the team that was allowed to go through had actually, during the total of the games, scored one extra goal. And that's how we kind of lost out.
And they were professionals.
Not going to the final. You know, the dedication of those guys. Right, I'm being told we have another caller. Fantastic. Who's on the line, please? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, who's calling, please?
It's Muhammad Aslam.
Councillor Aslam Saab. Councillor Aslam Saab is one of these great, amazing success stories. We went to college and universities and got the degrees. He's got the multi-million pounds, he's got the business, he's a councillor, he's a successful businessman. MashaAllah, what a great, and he's an ex-Part United player. Councillor Aslam Saab, tell us what some memories you want to share with us.
Yeah, Saj, we came in the tough times and the hard times. We've seen, when we came, that there were no many families in Nelson.
That's
so family-wise, me, you and all, we were very, very close from Lancashire School till now. I have many, many stories to tell, but we've lost a lot of friends, a lot of brothers.
Yeah.
Please, before the end of the show, please do a special dua for every single one, like Arif, Munir, Yaqub. In the old days, the first person was passed away was Yaqub Saab.
Brother Yaqub,
And from myself, you were a grammar school boy. You, Sabar, Ghaffar and Jabbar, we were the Nalak from the home field, Barrowford.
That's why I mentioned how well you've done, because you're not Nalak at all. Maybe you might not have gone to college or university, but you're a very intelligent, very successful person. In fact, more successful than most of us. So
right.
we're very proud of your achievements.
Yeah. Then from Mamisha went to Whitefield with you, then I went down to Montreal.
But tell us about your football, because what's your memory of football?
Yeah. From there,
I
played
especially,
rugby.
people want to, you played rugby as well.
I played the rugby, you played for the football. So from
But I want to know from you is your memories of what happened at Holt House when there was a lot of trouble. There was a big fight. What's your memories?
There was a big fight, but I got the pole. And
you got what? You grabbed hold of a corner flag. And Bash, is that correct?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Right, you grabbed.
Very correct.
Right. Okay.
Then now every single one of you stay behind me because I said, right, I'll deal with it. So, but there's other many stories as well. But the main thing is, we as one group, we stick together, we stay together. There were not many games, many places, and we were like one big happy family.
Yeah.
And we still are. I mean, I give credit to our manager. Without manager Khalid, this would not we wouldn't be. He brought me in as a defender from playing rugby. You see, because you were short of defenders. He said, right. I said, I can't play football. He said, never mind football. Don't let anyone score. That's your thingy then.
Yeah.
I said, yes. So his happy smile. He was a miracle person, bringing children into playing football, and he played very well. You know, he tried everything, but you know, so that's what I say. So I'll give more time to the rest of them because there is many other stories. Now I have been a good, successful person in business. Then now I'm a councillor of a brand new ward. So I'm doing whatever I can for the community, for the other community, really.
Thank you very much for ringing, Councillor. Yeah, go on. Yeah, thank you, Councillor. Right, do we have another caller? Who's on the phone, please? Hello, sorry, who's on the phone? Who's on the line?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Chat, it's me, Shakur. How are you?
Shakur, mashallah, welcome. Thank you very much, Shakur, for ringing.
No problem, Chat. Mashallah, you're doing a fantastic program.
Thank you.
Allah SWT always keep you blessed. I've got a special guest with me.
Yeah?
He's a special Chach and he wants to speak to you. So I'm just going to pass the phone to him. 1 second.
Okay. A special SAJ, did you say?
Yes, you're going to be in for a surprise here.
Okay.
Yes, 1 second. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. This is Sajjad Kareem, I believe.
No, yaar. What are you talking about?
Saj?
Sajjad.
Sajjad?
Oh, yaar, Sajjad nahi, main hun te tanu dhyan lena chahiye. Manchester.
Jaan ke main kar raha tang Rafiq. This is brother Rafiq, fondly referred to as Falcao. Now, for those who don't follow football, Falcao was in the team, the Brazilian team of 1982 with Socrates and so forth, reputed to be one of the best teams ever not to win the World Cup. So,
that's a surprise,
brother Rafiq, come on, brother Rafiq, we're especially grateful to you because he only had heart surgery a couple of weeks ago, but he has such love and passion for the football club and for me as well, especially me. I mean, I just cannot explain the love he shows towards me. Brother Rafiq, sorry, I know you want to say lots of things.
Sajjad, I just want to say we're so proud of you. We've always been so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you, Mashouk, and the rest of the lads here, I'm very, very heartily, I'm touched, honestly. I pray for you all the time. And remembering Khalid all the way, every time. And du'as and loves for our brothers who have passed away. We can't forget them. I'm sorry I have to mention them.
No, please do. Please do.
And we wish that all our brothers like Sagir and rest. Of course, we were here at Manchester. This nephew of mine came over and he said, Uncle, we're going to give them a surprise and we're going to ring them. And I'm sure that was a big surprise.
Beautiful. It is a lovely surprise.
Thank you, Shakur.
Now, is Brother Sarwar with you?
Sarwar actually went home saying to me, because, we had, Mamu passed away, as you know, and a lot of my family is here today. And we were very busy. We wasn't expecting that, but because it was a matter of Park United, actually, we couldn't stay away from you.
Well, this is your love, you see.
It's
Not
like
only has he heart said,
it's like a hive for like bees that are all around you. And I'm one of them who love you and Mashuk and the rest of the Park United youngsters playing nowadays. And we are so proud of them.
Yeah.
And they actually, Sajad, they don't realize how proud we are for them.
Yeah.
And I want them to, all them who are listening to it, forget the elders, younger ones, we are so proud of them, and Allah bless them all and give them continuation of this Park United, winning the match after, year after year. Hearing this, it just touches our hearts.
MashaAllah, thank you very much, Brother Rafiq. I really am grateful for your call, and you're absolutely right. The love and respect you have for the current generation, but it's a credit to them, and Mash especially, I would say, that he's nurtured such a spirit in them that the amount of love and respect they show to our generation, you and Brother Roon Saab and so forth, and they hold us in such high regard for the achievements that we did and laying the foundation for them to have the club that they have. So thanks for highlighting that. Okay. Right. I've only asked one question this evening, by the way, my list. The question we need to ask, Mash, which is always asked is, well, why are there not any Asian footballers, or more specifically, Pakistani footballers?
I think, firstly, I'd just like to say, a big thank you to you guys. If it wasn't for you putting down the foundations, we would not have been here 50 years later, still competing and sitting at the top of the league at the moment, mashallah, which is a proud moment for us. I think it's a number of things why there isn't that many Asian footballers. Some, be it, as you know, is the racism issue. I think out of this area, we should have at least had 5, 6, maybe more professionals. I mean, you yourself came that close. If it hadn't been for that injury, you would have played for Blackpool, and I'm sure would have got then transferred over to Man United, or would have been Liverpool, I think.
I don't think it would have been Liverpool.
So, and then the other thing is, I think it's just family support. There seems to be more family support for our younger generation. So hopefully, in the future, we can get a professional from this area. That's something we really want to achieve. And just to finish up, when I watched the film, the Hitman's Bodyguard, it reminds me of yourself and Lala Rafiq, where it was the football bodyguard. Because every time anybody, the film, the footballer's bodyguard.
Okay.
I'm thinking when I watched the film, The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Okay.
It reminds me of you and Lala Rafiq.
Right.
Because anybody touched you on the pitch,
yes,
he was had for, because Lala Rafiq would not rest until he'd actually done some damage and also told him, don't do that again.
He especially with Rafiq, but to be honest, they were all very protective of me, all of them, by Iqbal, who was, by the way, I couldn't find my tie. This tie is, viewers, almost 40 years old. And I've borrowed it from him this evening because I wanted to wear it. Sadly, we haven't got enough time, but I would love to explain the background to the star and crescent, and in the middle is a Lancashire rose, symbolizing that although our cultural heritage is Pakistani, but we are Lancashire people, and we're proud of Lancashire, and we're proud of our country and so forth.
Quite so.
So there was by Iqbal, there was Iftikhar Sen, fondly known as Khara, Shabir, all of them were actually very protective of especially me. They looked to me as their younger brother and felt because I was light in stature, I needed protecting, and they would almost feel personally offended if anybody touched me. And quite like Ronaldo, often I would be rolling over to protect myself, but they would go and get involved in a fight and get sent off and so forth. So, but the point is the love, the respect, the bond, of the club was just there to be seen on all occasions. as we begin to run out of time, and Pyrun, I'll start with you. You know, 40, 50 years on now, this club is going. Is it still relevant? Why is it you need a Pakistani football club? Why have we not got more English players or mainstream? You know, even at our time, 40 years ago, we had an English chairman, we had English supporters, English people used to attend our functions, and we had at least 4 or 5 English players 40 years ago. So my question is, and maybe English white people would want to ask this, is why have you not become more integrated?
I think we have to target the scouts who pick up youngsters in their 9, 10-year age. We started very late, and that delay is there now. We have, alhamdulillah, quite a few millionaires. We have political achievers in the likes of even Honorable Sajjad Karim, to whom Khalid and I went asking his father, please let him play football, please get him kit. Because he was not allowed to come out, we thought they were wasting their time playing football. This sense of achievement will continue. I think when the film is out, that hopefully will be another surge to try and get a full team of these financiers and scouts and our youngsters to catapult into getting at least 2 or 3 youngsters into a team nearby where a sense of identity continues.
So specifically to you then, really my question is, Park United as a club should continue, will continue, inshallah.
Inshallah.
But should you not have more people from different backgrounds? I mean, Mahesh is in Leicester. He left Nelson 40 years ago. Mahesh is from the Hindu community. He still keeps in touch. He was a Park United player. Yunus Chenny, fondly known, he's from the Christian community. So Park United has always wanted to be all-inclusive. But do you feel we have gone far enough, or have we gone backwards in a way?
I feel we've gone backwards in some cases with getting white players to come and play for Park. I think, you know, again, there's a number of issues where we're seen as the outsider team still in some instances. But we seem to, have a better relationship with people now. We don't seem to be falling out. I mean, the referees are still as bad, but we don't seem to be falling out with teams as much as
That's
before.
a universal disease.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, I just want to say we've had some wonderful players, wonderful managers, and continued it all the way through to bring us to here. So I think, being here doesn't mean that we've gone backwards. Being here means that we must have gone forward to still be here. But I think, like Haroon Saab said, maybe we need to do a bit more just to promote ourselves a bit more and get ourselves known a bit more.
Okay, sorry to cut you short, and apologies to all the people I may have cut short. We've only got a couple of minutes left. Before leaving, I must inform our viewers that there will be a repeat of this program tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Repeat of this program tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. In closing, a number of people privately and tonight have touched on the fact that we have lost a number of people over the years. The very earliest one, Yaqub Bashti, Akhtar Bashti, before that. Sadly, we haven't got time to offer prayers, but we will always remember them. Muhammad Umar, who went to Scotland later on, no longer with us. Muhammad Fiaz, no longer with us. David Blizzard, our wonderful, beautiful chairman, we miss him so much. Lately, Afaz Anwar Saab, great supporter of the club, a fantastic, beautiful personality. And Kass Saab, thank you, Rumpai. Forgive me if I miss somebody out, but I cannot go without mentioning mentioning Muhammad Arif, I would love to, in fact, I will commit myself to doing a whole program to him, because he was such a major part of this club. And, you know, particularly towards me, he was absolutely wonderful. May God bless them all, and give them the highest station in Jannah. In winding up, thank you very much, Rumbai, for coming. Mashouk, thanks for attending and participating. Thank you very much to all the people who've rung up for making this program such interesting one and enjoyable for me. And always thank you for all the love and support you've given me throughout the years and continue to do so. Thank you very much. Good night. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good evening.
الله 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 أكبر الله 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 أكبر لا